Hey, hello everyone. How you all doing? It's great to invite you guys to another episode of the Basin podcast.
The Basin podcast. Woo, 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 woo.
It's awesome.
Season 2.
Season 2. It's great. It's great to be back and get to do this, and we do enjoy doing this. It's a lot of work to put in, but it's great. It's a privilege to have the opportunity to set up things and share about yourself and talk about life. So it's exciting. As much as we love podcasts, there's nothing as beautiful as having a community of people that you connect with, you do life with, and that's something that we've lost over time, especially with the pandemic that we've all experienced, the COVID period.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people have become withdrawn. Even prior to that, there were articles and things about how more people are staying indoor, and there's less room for us to have one-on-one or interact. Or we just thinking about our childhood. Our childhood is, and you and I, we were talking about this, how we make amend as kids. Like we go outside.
Make what?
How we make amend.
I'll make amends as kids.
Amend the kids. So I will play with our, with neighbors. Like we go outside. We fight each other. Like from the guy's perspective, I can remember as a kid. Sometimes I'm not even sure what we're fighting for, but somehow we just get into a fight with a couple of neighboring kids. And it's a way to show like who's the strongest, who's the stronger, and who's stronger, whatever, and just lead with things. And it's funny how we get back together and we talk. And some of those people, you still say hi, so those things like strengthen relationship, like playing outside. But seeing how things have changed, especially one was the advent of video games. When video games came out, more people started like playing video games, and there was less one-to-one interaction or playing with other kids. So we've lost the heart of being able to engage and being able to develop thick skin, which I think right now we're losing, or we've lost it completely, especially in America, because we don't. Because especially like when you're learning to fight for yourself or speak out for yourself or to stand up. Those are skills that you have to build. Those are muscles that we need to build. And a lot of times, because it's becoming more dangerous, if you live in certain communities, instead of people developing the ability to speak out and just roughing it out, if somebody says something you don't like, being able to respond and stand your ground.
What we were saying was bullying, right?
Yeah.
How bully is now this. I'm kind of careful how we word it, right? Because we're not saying bully is good. Bullying is never right.
You never
right?
endorse bullying.
You should never bully. People should not bully each other.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there's another side of bullying that we grew up with. Like, kids will mess around.
Yeah.
Like, kids will hurt your feelings. Kids will do things.
They will try to prey on your weakness, push
your buttons a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm hearing you say, what we were saying is that there's an aspect of rough play that is not bad.
Yeah.
But right now, with the way the media carries it, it becomes like, this person bullied me, and then it becomes a big deal. And a part of, I think what we're saying is that there's an aspect of bullying that is not a big deal.
Is that really a bullying? And I think that you're talking about being able to develop like your own muscles to respond.
Yeah, stand up for yourself.
And to stand up for yourself, to be able to defend yourself. And I think it's over time, because most people have become reclusive, stay within their own house, feel removed from other people. So they've not built the necessary memories or the necessary muscles to be able to counter when they experience like behaviors that is contrary to what they find as appealing or kind. Even from a work perspective, right? It's you see that people, they quit jobs or teams or things very quickly.
That's true.
Because they're dealing with somebody who is very difficult, or they say, "Oh, this person is mean to me," or "This person is toxic." And the word toxic it's become it's kind of used a lot. But a lot of times we need to we all cannot have everybody all kind to us. Unfortunately, liking you and treating you kindly. Sometimes we need certain people that are not kind. But how do we deal with those people? You being able to build the strength to stand up to those people and say, I'm not scared of you.
As you were saying that, I was thinking also about the aspect of like, I'm gonna steer a little bit into politics, right? How right now we see in media that when a different party does not align with your point of view, it becomes antagonistic.
Yeah.
And I feel like it also starts while we are seeing this amongst adults. Adults are behaving in many ways, right? I'm trying to be careful here not to offend anyone, but some people, offense is inevitable sometimes. And amongst adults, when I see in politics, again, my opinion, I feel like there is this mindset when a party doesn't align with your party, it becomes very antagonistic. Our society today, people don't have thick skin.
Yeah.
And because people don't have thick skin, people also do not know how to defend their point of view. You know what I mean? Like defend, I'm saying that I disagree with you, right? I'm saying that what you believe or what you stand for or whatever you are saying, I don't agree with you. Automatically, in your mind today, you and I cannot be friends.
Yeah.
That's what adults believe.
Yeah.
And I think in the same way in the playground, when when kids are getting bullied and everything, instead of using that as an opportunity to like fight for yourself, stand up for yourself, and see how in the midst of that tension, you guys can end up being friends, right? Like you said earlier, that in the end you guys fight and become play.
Because you fought it out. You fought out your differences. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like wrestling. Like you're wrestling with certain things until you get victory from it. So a lot of times we quit so early, or we don't have the opportunity to even engage people. So yes, a lot of what we have today, we have matured kids. We have the adults that we have today.
Mature kids or older kids?
Older kids.
I want to say older kids, not mature, man.
The kids that they never had the chance to, they've become adults. And there's a generation that's shifted, that they've not been able to fight out their differences and their point of view in a safe place. So now what has resulted to is we are fighting with emotions and sentiment. So we're not able to defend our point of view. We're just saying, why do you believe what you believe? Because I feel that way. And because my experience is this. And as a woman, I experience this. As a man, I experience this. Because of that, I do not like this person. So it's what you have to make a decision, a conclusive statement. You know, it doesn't have a case.
There's no weight.
There's no weight. There's no defined case for it. It's always like, I feel that way. And when we have people who are able to articulate a lot more clearly what they stand for, and it's against what we believe in, and they're able to speak clearly, they make us very uncomfortable.
They make people uncomfortable.
And sometimes angry.
Exactly.
Because
people are uncomfortable with eloquent people.
They're
especially if that eloquent person does not align with your point of view.
Especially when it does not align. People begin
to dislike them, and their method of making it clear that they dislike them is attack. It's like if you check your heart, you are uncomfortable with the fact that this person has an eloquence and wisdom and knowledge that you don't have. Well, that should challenge you to go make yourself more knowledgeable.
That should challenge you to want to equip yourself and fully
I love
understand the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like come up with the premise. On what premise do you believe what you stand for? And everything starts as kids. I mean, I remember, maybe we can go back to our childhood, like when we were younger. I remember, my brother, when he got into like a conflict with another friend. He was very young, and this other friend brought out a belt and wanted to whip my brother, like, being with the belt in the community. And my brother started running back home. And then this guy started running after my brother to want to beat up my brother. And then my dad was right there. My dad saw him, and my dad was like, "Why are you running?" And it was like, "Oh, this guy wants to beat me. He's running after me." My dad was so upset. that my dad now took out his belt and whipped my brother. And he was like, this is your friend. Your friend takes a belt, challenging you. You don't come in and run around and run away from your friend. You stand up for yourself. You know, it kind of get a little bit interesting because when we moved to, New York City and I did some high school, my dad kind of became more lenient because that premise was not.
Now it's more dangerous. People have
it's
weapons.
Now, then it was more like, because now.
It was belts, it was stones. Yeah.
Belt was that when we were younger, but now it's like, in the high school, they will shoot you, or the kids will come in and bring in weapons. So my dad was like, from a dad that would tell us, stand up for yourself. If somebody comes in and they are combative and they're argumentative, just bless them and move on. And I'm like, Dad, what happened? And it just shows how culture has changed. It's becoming very vengeful, which is unfortunate. And honestly, too, that's playing out as adults. A lot of adults have not had the opportunity to a safe place to fight out a lot of their differences.
Yeah.
And a lot of the bitterness and emotions really are things that have grown for a very long period of time. Things that they've embedded in themselves. Experiences that they've had that they want to talk. And what's interesting is when I look at what happened during the pandemic, even the issues of Black Lives Matter and everything that came out. But within the Black Lives Matter, I realized that as stories and individuals, that they really are not saying what Black Lives Matter overall is saying, but really hear my story.
Personal story. This is what happened to me.
Exactly. So when you begin to understand that it's like, yes, people are looking for a vehicle for them to be heard. And even when you talk to people with different political views, is how do you become the matured one in the room? Is relax, calm down, and hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
They might never come to your side, but exactly it's like, what does this mean to you as an individual?
Yeah.
And what I realized is that when people can put themselves in a story, or in a view, or in a political perspective or a political vehicle, it becomes very difficult to challenge them because they're seeing themselves. But the whole thing or the whole banner that they might be running on might not really be about that specifically.
Yeah.
But you are using that as a way to find your own voice.
Yeah.
And I do think that's the challenge we have is people feel like they never had their own voice.
But while you're speaking, what I'm thinking about?
Yeah.
It's like, as a kid, right, I never used to care for debate clubs.
Yeah.
But now, I feel like we need debate clubs to come back. Debate clubs are needed.
Yeah.
Because we have a growing society, especially with the younger generation and even millennials, our generation too. A little less of the Gen X's. Our parents' generation, I feel like they had the debate club. The younger millennials and now the Gen Zs. They've lost the art of debate. People don't know how to debate without bringing emotions. Remember debate? When I used to watch debates, I think you were part of debate in the past. Forget how you feel.
Yeah.
You have to talk from a educated perspective.
You have to defend your stand.
Defend your stand. Don't talk about how you don't bring emotions into the conversation. Bring facts.
Yeah.
And after you shake before you start. Yeah. Right? You understand you thank everybody.
You respectfully.
And very likely your opponent might actually even be your friend.
Yeah.
But in the case of this debate, we have differing point of views. And after the debate is over, you shake hands and you maybe go get lunch together.
What's interesting about debate is that you also have to debate and speak on stance, maybe on issues that you probably don't
believe in.
So I remember there was one that I did not do, but my siblings were doing. And it's so funny because we all got into debate. There were debate competition. And one was like, teachers are better than doctors in the community. And then doctors are better than teachers. And somehow you begin to develop your view. And we did it as kids. But then definitely you come up and talk about the things that doctors have done. But then now you have a whole case of, there's a reason why you need a teacher. because without teachers, they cannot be doctors. Without teachers, they cannot be lawyers.
So you studied the opposing view.
You've studied the opposing view. Normally you're like, without doctors, we're not going to be alive. But then at the same time, we're like, yes, we've had other kind of doctors before this current doctors that we have. And again, for us but we've had teachers, and teachers is a really broader term. It's anybody that's able to teach you to impact knowledge.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like who's the most significant. But it's funny how debate begins to build all those muscle memories.
It does.
Of like, this is why I stand. Some people we admire, and we're like, they talk so much, they learn so much. What's interesting is I can read so much, right? Even reading the Bible, reading books. I realized that until I'm able to answer the questions and talk to somebody else, or have
Why do you
a
believe
vehicle
what you believe? Yeah.
to be able to talk about those things, is where I do think that I have clarity. So I can spend time and read. I can spend time. I realize me personally, I can read books, but I do not fully grasp until when I'm in a place where I have to explain it to other people.
Explain it to someone.
And
That's
when I begin
to
to explain is when I dive deeper and I'm like, wait, I read this word. It's kind of like somebody asking me questions like, hey, boss, what about this? And I'm like, I read it, but I never thought too deep into that specific word. But that means something else to you.
And that's what I was hitting on.
Yeah.
I feel like that aspect of not thinking too deep, right?
Yeah.
There is a strategy. I don't know why. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but there's a strategy right now in society hindering people from spending time thinking too deep.
Critical thinking.
Yeah. Thinking about matters that affect your personal life. You're simply thought and expected to align with somebody's belief, but you're never thinking for yourself, why do I believe what I believe about this topic?
And why do I stand?
Why do I agree
exactly?
with this?
Yeah.
I think about what you just said about how in a debate club, you often asked to debate a topic that usually in your real life you don't agree with that topic.
Yeah.
But because of the debate, they're asking you, this is your topic, debate on this topic, right? And if you're for, you're against. Can you imagine what would happen if today you get a Republican and you ask them to debate on the supporting side of a Democrat?
Yeah.
If you have a Republican speak as though you're a Democrat and defend the side of a Democrat, remove your feelings, how you truly feel in real world, and just debate as though you were a Democrat, and we get a Democrat to debate as though they're Republican. Imagine what would happen.
I'm now thinking, no, we're not trying to get too political here, but I
don't mind getting too political.
And I'm thinking like the best people, or the best thinkers that we need in the society are people who are comfortable being in the midst of a lot of people who think differently from them.
In other words, we need people who are comfortable being uncomfortable.
We're people who are comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Who can go to the territory of others. I've always challenged myself that way. I've always, it's so easy for me to know both sides because I've been both sides. And even with my debate, or with me being able to speak on particular issues, is a level of empathy of knowing some of the things you said I agree with. Some of the things you stand for I do agree with.
Yeah.